All right, we are here. It's been another week.
Another week.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. What
Uh,
a week by. It's Friday
yeah,
at least though. It's a Friday of another week.
that is true.
Here we are at the happy hour of code.
Yeah, so I was taking a look at this, and I feel like there's a little bit of just some minor cleanup that would be that would probably be beneficial in this project because we have a bunch of files in there that we're not using anymore.
Okay.
I was gonna go and do it off stream, but I felt like what I wanted to do was kind of lay things out the way that um, Phaser is always happy with, right? Um,
Okay.
so like having done some of the other games and stuff like that, I've been thinking about this idea that I think it'd be good to actually create the scenes and have like the booter and a preloader and these different things that are actually kind of part of what you want, how you would want to set up a real project in Phaser.
That
Um,
that makes sense to me. Yeah, to take now that we've got some stuff going here, we could take a step back and look at what a phaser application really looks like, as opposed to like what we just kind of organically cobbled together to get these effects in. So I think
right?
that's good, John. I think that's a good plan.
Yeah. And what's kind of neat is Phaser actually offers uh, a project template. And so it actually has um, kind of like if you wanted to start a new project in Phaser and you want to start from scratch and you're saying, hey, you know what, but I don't want to have to do all some of the boilerplate code to get everything up and running. I don't want to have to get all the npm stuff up and get that going. You can actually go and they have this Phaser 3 project template that you can pull
Ah,
down.
there you
Um,
go.
yeah, and it actually has like all the built-in npm stuff for you so that you don't have to keep um, you don't have to do that on your own every single time, right? Kind of helps having that. Um, so
Awesome.
yeah, so I'm not going to copy it exactly. Oh wait a minute, this isn't the one I was looking for. Hold on, let me find the right one.
All right, if you wrote that down, erase it. We're gonna get the
Uh,
right.
I feel like this is the one that I did. That's why it's weird. Um, Well, I mean, this is a good one. It doesn't have the things I thought that it was going to have in it. Was the part that I was like kind of shocked by because I came in here and it just has your index and your assets, which this isn't a bad place to start either because it also still has your npm project JSON file there, has your index HTML. Inside of here, you actually have your your build and start. Um, so
Okay.
you so you could build it, and if you do the start, it starts up the web server, so it'll automatically recompile everything, and it'll let you uh, keep going with that. Um, but one of the examples that I'd seen had been pretty decent was I thought it was an adjustment to that one, and it may be a different one. I probably should have looked for it before we were coming into here, but I was actually looking at my previous projects that I'd worked on. And what I had seen as a suggestion is you start with like adding uh, you create the config separate from the oh, I guess it helps if you actually name the file type right.
Is that an SJ file?
Now, and so in here we actually have our config in this spot here. But
Okay,
what,
so they're saying to break that into a separate file.
yeah, because then you can have different configs if you want to. So then you can build it with forcing different configs to load.
Okay.
Because you can with Phaser, there's lots of different stuff you can do to configure it for different browsers and different um, uh, whether you want to use OpenGL or whether it's going to use like Canvas or so it has a couple of different configurations. Right now we're doing Phaser Auto. Phaser Auto is the type, but this can
Hmm.
have a bunch of different options to it that may be better depending on what you're building it for. Right, like if you're writing
So,
it for a phone, if you're writing it for a tablet, or if you're writing it that is going to be for iPhone or Android, there's going to be different options that are going to be better.
right, so you actually get to leverage that configurability, like essentially, because the idea would be that, yeah, that config is going to direct your program with the load. So, all right, cool.
Right.
So that's going to be in a separate file then, and then you can have Now, would you do multiple config variables, or would you just send in a different file? How would that work?
For right now, we would just send in a different file.
Okay.
What I'm why am I not doing this right? Oh yeah, here we go. There we go. So now that I have this in here, I should then be able to, then I can come over here and I can import that. So now I'm
Okay.
going to import the config, and I'm going to import that from, right? And we're doing ES6. So this will actually, as long as the browser supports it, it loads it up fine, which which we've been doing fine so far, right? So this will bring in this config.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, I put this in the wrong spot. This is in the main.
Ah, cool. Jim's here.
Hey. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. All right. So I think even with just moving that, we should be able to confirm that that's still working.
Okay.
Oh, maybe not. So here's one of the other changes that comes along, right? So in the config, we actually are telling it what we want the main scene to be, but this main scene variable doesn't actually exist here.
Okay.
So what?
Okay, that makes sense.
Right? It's like once you see it, it's like because there's this main scene is like, oh, there's nothing there. So we could actually do it two different ways. Let me do it the one way first, right? So we can do. Let me just. I'll copy this out, put this over here in the config, because then I can actually have the config take it, and we'll just do the double down to it. So that should actually give us the right result.
Okay.
Config is not defined. Config. Why would this have gotten? I must have missed something.
I feel like your screen share has frozen up for me.
Why can't they make screen share faster in Skype instead of me having to click on multiple things? All right. Oh, what is this? Oh, it didn't like that. All right. What's actually kind of neat. So what I messed up on here is that I don't even need this, right? So I can actually just do this, and this will actually output this. I was looking at it going like, I know I've done this, but there we go. All right, so now we got the config out in a separate file. And we're still able to get everything running. All right, so let's move the next piece, right? So the next piece I would move is I would create a folder called scenes. I'm going to move the main JS into there. Let's see if it'll actually update all those appropriately. Did it do it in here? Oh, it did that one. And it did that one. Cool. So we moved that in there. What I have, yeah, so now we get the main scene. What's the next one? Oh, so what I want to do is I actually want to add I want to add two different ones. One, I want a boot scene. I want to add another one. I want to add a preloader scene.
Okay, so you've got now this little scenes folder here that you're working in, and we've got 3 different scenes in there now. You got your main scene, the boot scene, and the preloader you just did. Okay.
Yeah, I want to rename this so that we actually have it match what the name of the class actually is, because it was named differently than that.
Okay.
Nice, Jim. Freaking phaser beams. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, well, Well, we got fireworks.
Yeah.
Although we're probably working on breaking that pretty good. So but right now we got fireworks. Is it working on the stream, or is that the same code base we're working on?
Yeah, it should still be working. I think it's going to see the debug on it. I see
It'll
the
have the boxes.
yeah, so it'll have the box with the line on there, so you'll be able to see all the physics going on.
I sent one to you.
Yeah, this is in the way. Okay. Yeah, so this we're gonna actually name this one as main.
Let's do a few more for him, just because.
Well,
Just because.
Yeah, well, there's a whole bunch that can happen in there, right?
Yeah. Here you go. There's another one, and you could do it from home too.
Yeah, well, because it's taking it from the text that's in the chat, so you'll just get lots of stuff. On the stream, I could see something behind you, Pete, because it actually comes through you. So I was like, wait, what's that pop-up happening?
Yeah, because of the green shirt.
Yeah, because of the green shirt. We can actually so what I was gonna do is you could do this thing where you extend the game.
Okay.
What this kind of provides for us is a way of adding some additional functionality to our game itself. And in here, we can actually use this to define our all the scenes that we have, right? So,
right. So we're using that base phaser game, and we're going to be able to kind of load it as our game, like the stuff that specific to us. Is that what we're driving at here?
Yeah, it'll also give us the capability of adding in some global variables and stuff like that we want to capture as part of the game overall, right? So
right. So they don't have to like float out there somewhere. They'll be included in our version of a phaser game.
Correct. Correct. Yep. So I want to just get these in here. So we need to include. The one thing I just realized is there was. It probably won't be bad. I wanted to do some a neat loader bar for the scene, but it may have to wait. I can't remember off the top of my head how to do it.
A neat loader bar, like a progress bar?
Yeah, so that way we know when the actual scene has loaded and completed on the stream. Like right now, we kind of got that one little guy that shoots up as soon as it finishes, but that's not going to be enough all the time. So.
Right on. Okay.
Yeah. So then this, just keep going. Especially since we don't have a lot of stuff that we're preloading right now, that we won't actually see a huge benefit to it. It's pretty small. It's
right,
more
so
about
it's going to happen fast.
Yeah, because I actually have tested this out a little bit, and I was like, oh, well, that almost seems pointless, but it's good to show what the what this should really look like, And so one of the things, so what we've done here is now we've got these scenes added to the information of the game, and then this is where we're actually telling it which one to use. Oop, I have this capitalized wrong. Yeah, so now we have
that T off.
Right, and so then
Clip
now
the T off.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying.
I'm trying to help you. I wish we could I wish I could help.
You could barely keep the stream up. The live share
I know.
would kill your system.
I know.
Yeah, so then now we actually, instead of doing new phaser game with the config, we actually just do this. There's a piece here that we can actually do this. I think it's on the super. We can actually pass in the config. Right, so now if we ever wanted to change the config, we could actually just have different files here. And that's one of those things that you can actually change as part of your build pipeline and tell it to point to different configs. So that way you could output different versions of the same program with just a little bit of different config. Yeah, so now we need to create a boot. All right, so I have to start from scratch. That's just like, so default export class boot scene. Actually, you know what? I think I can take one from here, right? So we've got. I'm just going to copy this over here so I don't have to rewrite the whole.
Just pull the whole thing in. Okay.
Yeah, on my computer on my other computer, I actually have a template so that I can just
Wait a minute. Nah, man, we're winging it. It's also JavaScript, which is hinky in and of itself. But I just happened to look at the chat there, and Jim's like, "Wait, no TDD."
we can let you know what that can be something you can work on at home.
Yeah.
There we go. We'll make that a like a homework project. We can set up for it
for advanced.
Yeah,
work.
Because I mean, honestly, the hard part about that is actually, the hard part with this in particular is the JavaScript libraries, and I don't know if Phaser itself was built with it. Built with this to actually do that, which makes it more difficult.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, right.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. So let's see. We don't need any of this stuff here in this constructor, right? Because all this is doing. Actually, we need to change this because this is going to be our boot scene. Forgot I copy pasted this. A little copy pasta action. So in the boot, what I've done to use on this one is kind of your like real quick load. A good example was like I use it when I was using it. I did it with the would load a logo. So I'd load my logo file here so that when you get to the preload screen where you're actually going to go through and load all your assets, you can display your one graphic that you have. So that way it's just loading one thing very quickly to get to the next scene. So, and the create on here doesn't run till the preload completes. So, because then you can now go on here and you can just do a scene load. Start.
So these like this preload and create and all, it's actually sort of like a life cycle kind of a scenario where it's going to move through these period like as it pulls up the file and starts processing through. So you're going to have to do the preload and then it hits the create. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, because this is a scene. So the Phaser scene has preload, create, update. There's a couple of different states for it that do that stuff. Don't remember all of them. I think there's like one that's a preload. But generally you'll see most people do the work in these three. So preload, create, and update. Those are the three like main ones. You'll see those in the mainstream scene because we already done the work in there.
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of point that out a little bit, that it seems like you're talking like it's sort of a life cycle kind of a thing to be able that you can grab a hold of.
Yeah, and I think we're gonna do something a little different than what I was planning on or what I was thinking about doing. Because I don't remember how to do the loader bar off the top of my head. I thought I was going to be able to do it, and as I started to type, I'm like, I can't remember how to do it because you have to actually do like the drawing, like you actually draw the bar and you fill it up as the graphics complete and stuff like that. What is Jim saying here?
Heard you like preload, so I added a preload so that you can preload while you preload. Oh no.
Yeah, it happens.
Our best shows are the ones when Jim comes.
Jim will keep us honest every time. So here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all the stuff that we had in the preload on this one, and I'm actually just going to move it up to this scene here.
Okay.
This is temporary because what we would do is, and I can kind of walk you through real quick what would actually happen is that inside the create, we would actually do a couple of things to build our progress bar, and then we would attach to the events like we did in our scene here, how we attach to the load complete event. Where do we do that? Yeah, the this on load. So like how we were doing that, the this on load processing, we would actually do that
Okay.
inside the preload scene. And then when it says, oh, we've loaded all the images that we're expecting, then it'll move on to the next scene. But just to kind of mimic that, we're just going to put this into the preload. We just won't have any
Like a
nice
bar.
progress bar or anything like that that's loading it. Ultimately, it still does the same thing for us. So now we've moved all our scenes. We have that. We moved the message types. Okay, so it changed all those. I just wanted to make sure this was pointing back up appropriately because I don't know when we moved it in here if we actually fixed that. So the other thing is, since we've put this start here, we don't need that anymore, right? So we can remove it from the config, right? So we don't have to have this here anymore, and we can eliminate this extra import.
Oh, okay.
So I just wanted to clean that up. Yeah, because it's here now. Let's see. Jim, that's a good question. It's not the constraints are more about the fact that inside the preload, it allows for the asynchronous loading of the all your content, all your assets. And really what it's doing is it helps control that so that it allows you to do the asynchronous load, and then in the create, all that stuff is already there before you have to worry about doing anything with it, which is actually a problem that we ran into because we wanted to add assets during the execution. So during the update sequence, like the update loop, we actually wanted to load assets, and we ran into a problem where we would load it and we would get the little symbol showing that it hadn't loaded the asset for it. I don't know if you remember that, Pete, but we ended up running into that.
It's like that little green box that flies up.
Yeah, well, it's it has a box with a line through it, like a little like red box. Yeah, I don't remember what was going on with the thing that there was a state before the preload. I remember them saying that there was some condition for it, but I don't remember what it is. All right, so let's make sure this is working, because I'm pretty sure there's something I'm going to have to fix. Oh, all the stuff from before. So we're so we're good there. Let me see something. Let me make sure it looks like the stream was able to reload it successfully too.
Okay.
Cool. So right now we're basically back where we were before, but at least now we have this a structure that would kind of allow you to do more with how the game gets built up. There's actually some other benefits to this as well that we can potentially do some. We can do scene overlays, because one of the things you can do is, like, if you wanted to have, when you're building a game and you want to have a UI over top of the game that kind of shows you how many coins you've collected, or what your score is and stuff like that.
Right.
And we may want to do something similar with this, right? So we may actually want to add another layer on top of this where we could show some other information going on during the stream.
Right. You almost get like a heads-up display, or you could. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, exactly. So now that this is done, we're good with the main, good with our config. All right, so we do all of our stuff here. All right, so the last thing where we left off, and we kind of commented out the code for it so that the rest of the stuff would work, because all this does right now is one thing, right?
Right, he just shows up and basically wiggles around out there.
Yeah, so let's make sure. Let's see if that's still working. So he's going, and then he stopped at the end. Okay. We were trying to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do we
Yeah.
want to?
Yeah, what do we want him to do? Well, we were talking about just have him walk out and come back or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So we did it here where we had the on complete,
Right.
and we put it back, which was good.
And he flipped, so he's looking the other way.
Yeah.
So he really just needs to go the other way.
Yeah. So we did it with the tween. I guess we could.
Go back to 0. Tween him back to 0.
Yeah. Think the problem. So I think we tried doing that, right? So we actually had. I think initially we actually had inside of here we had this tween, and we added it. But because this is JavaScript, the this doesn't actually mean the this that's out here.
Nope. It's in the scope of that function there. The
Yeah.
enclosure of the function.
I feel like that should be a good. We should try to see if we can create what this is this emote. Because now the other part of this is I was trying to remember. I feel like there was a way to pass in the state. I guess we could pass in. Can pass it in here. No, we can't. How do? We can do it.
Can we make this whole thing like a function that it can just call and flip it one way or the other?
That doesn't help us because the this will still
No.
not be the right this. Yeah. Because this is getting executed from the event, so the context that gets passed in here is not the context of the class.
Right. But you couldn't pass it as like a named param at that point? Yeah.
I don't.
Probably.
So-
still
but-
doing it from there.
So let's say we wanted to add a function here, right? Is that what you're thinking?
I'm not sure, but yeah, I guess so.
Or we could do one. I'll tell you. So it's tricky, right? The chaining of these events not maintaining the context that we're coming into. So let's say I put a function here. We'll say alien return. So I can do this, go like that, and do this dot. But I don't. Let me try it. I'll try just copying this and putting it in here, right?
Let's see if it just goes, but is that X value need to change?
Yep.
All right. That's what I thought.
Yeah. So this is because that was we were coming out halfway out into the screen, and then we're going to go back to 0. I also think when we get to the end of this, we're going to want to hide it, right? So we're going to want alien set visible to false. The only thing is, so we set. So alien is not a property on the class. So to get it here,
So we don't have accessibility to it in the alien return function
we do not. We do
because
not.
it's inside of the. Okay. So you need to pass it.
Yeah, which we can't because the onComplete does its own thing.
Right.
Right?
What if it was just called like Alien Walk? And then if we could interrogate the alien position and determine which direction to do it, would that help us? I don't know if it would or not.
The alien walk. What do you give me?
Like, because it would kind of genericize. Instead of see where you have the this, that, tweens, the ad, so you're actually doing that initial ad, and then on the complete, we're adding a new one. Could we call something from?
You're trying to.
I don't think it helps.
The problem.
Oh. The alien, we want to walk from the side of the screen halfway out and then back again, Jim, just to let you know.
Yeah, so the concept is we're trying to, so since this is our stream bot, we're trying to make it so that we can have something happen and have the alien walk out, hopefully do something, and then go back, right? Because our initial thought part of was thinking about getting the whammies, right? And that was kind of like what kind of triggered this to get something to come out like either when we do something dumb or good.
Yeah. Yeah, or even like periodically, or some things we want to tie to like the chat, like the way that the emote thing works. So, yeah, ultimately we'll be able to tie this to some event on the stream.
Correct. Yeah, that's right, Jim.
Yep.
Because I mean that's the hope of that. So what we're trying to figure out, and one of the things that Phaser has this tweening capability, and really what it boils down to is that it will over time in the update automatically figure out how to get you from one place to another in a certain period of time and make the automatic adjustments for you, right? So the example here with this statement is that we're telling it that we want to tell the alien to go get the X to 690 from wherever it is currently in taking 5 seconds, right? So this is in milliseconds, so it's 5,000 milliseconds. There's also the ability to add like this easing to it, which will let it like move in slowly and then move faster, or move in slowly or move in fast and then slow down. So it kind of creates that ability. Also allows you to do a repeat, right? So we could, like if we did it with just this one, we could tell it, hey, we want to repeat twice, and it would walk out, and then we would have to have a yo-yo to tell it to return and then come back, right? When we first did this, we actually had it working and it went back, but then it didn't turn around. So we needed to turn it around once it finished one iteration of that movement. And so here, this is the onComplete event, which then it would be nice to have it execute another tween on it
to send it back.
Yeah, I mean we could always write this ourselves. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing that says we can't. We were just trying to take advantage of the Phaser tools that were there.
Yeah, we still probably can. I'm not convinced that we can't. It's just sort of hard to think about.
Yeah, well, absolutely. And that's why it's like, they're showing
destroy a tween.
Oh, why is it not destroying? It didn't seem to start. I think there's something not working in here. This is a bad example. Yeah, see, I was trying to figure out how to do this where we could pass in the context, right? So if you do it like when using this, it'll actually pass in this, which is terrible. So we can't do that with just like a normal event. Physics arcade tween body. I feel like we've already looked at all these, and none of these had what we
Yeah,
were
that's how we
looking
got
for.
this far.
Yeah. These are 3 chain tweens.
Ah, that's a good Google, John. Chaining multiple tweens.
I think that might be. Ah! It's called a timeline.
Oh. There you go.
Oh my goodness.
That's the deal. That's how the pros do it, people. They Google it.
I'm hoping it says Phaser 3 sandbox. I'm hoping this is. I think I told you I swore I'd seen it done. So
Dude,
it's
you
like
should just copy that code like as it is, and it'll just be the alien instead of the block. And if it happens, then yay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And we'll tweak it and make it more better. Quit giving away the secrets.
The real secret is to copy and paste. So we should have gone to Stack Overflow and then just copy and paste it from there.
Right? People make a lot of money doing that. We've known a few.
I like how, Jim, you had to fix that. Like, you said, quick, giving away the secrets. What we're going to have to do is we're going to have something that pops up over the stream that we upload that just says censored.
Yeah, I think we need to have like a guest Skype box. That's what we need. So like, Jim gets frustrated having to type to us and wait for us to respond. He can just call in. Just add his head like up in the right there.
Yeah, right.
But I think we got John Galloway on as a guest.
Alright, so we could set this back to 0, power that. We'll set that back to 5 seconds. Get rid of these other 2 because we're not going to go in a square. We're going to go back and forth. So let's get rid of this. Excuse me. And all right, so let's see what happens when we get this one. Special hats.
Goes.
We should have gotten special hats. Whoa!
Oh, he's moonwalking.
He
He's an alien. So it worked. We just got to throw that flip in there. Can we do that?
I guess we'll give it a try. I mean,
in the timeline?
I think we can do it on complete here.
Yes.
So I
Maybe.
think, I'm hoping we can now do the.
Can you just do the little lambda guy in there for the function?
I think so. I think this is how it's done.
Is that all I need to do?
I think so. I think so.
Oh, we got shot. He turned around.
There he goes.
He's going fast, though.
Wow. So we have it set on that, and it just stands there and keeps walking. So I think we can then, on this one, we can now do an on complete that will basically shut it down. So we can do the anims.stop, and we'll do.
Should make him do the jump thing, like he jumped off the screen at the end.
Visible is false. I believe that's all we need to do. We can also take this out for right now. This was.
That was from the box. That was the easing.
Yeah, and that's part of that. There's all the different types of easing that we can do. So yeah, so now you can see him. He's just walking even speed the entire time. hit the end, and turned away around to walk back, and he's gone.
And he's
Awesome.
gone.
So maybe he didn't actually walk off the screen, so maybe we can make him walk off the screen. We'll just add like a -100.
Right, so he leaves first.
Yeah, and maybe we should even do that.
Maybe we
for-
should make him walk onto the screen. Yeah.
Yeah, so we can
Right.
have him start there off the screen. This is interesting. I think it's interesting that there's a timeline, and it's actually like an object. I'm wondering what we can add to the timeline, because I think it would be awesome if we had him walk out, and we could even have like a little like talk bubble that pops up, and then have him turn around and we'll go back.
Yeah. Well, it's a game engine, right? He could hop into a spaceship and fly away if we put our minds to it. So.
Yeah, I wonder if we can. I wonder if we do something like don't do anything. We just do a duration of 3 seconds.
Just make him stand there, maybe.
Yeah. See if that'll work. So I did the 5. Up. All right. So we're gonna try to see if this actually works for coming onto the screen.
Yep.
Yeah, it looked like it. Oh, that was weird. So it didn't stop and it didn't wait. But I don't know if you noticed right at the beginning, it started off slow and then it got up to speed.
Really.
Yeah, let's see if it'll do it again. Watch when he. Oh, it was okay this time.
It stuttered a little for me, but I think it was Skype.
Yeah, yeah, Jim. See, it definitely sped up.
Yeah, it actually looks smoother on the stream. I'm gonna watch it on the stream this time.
Yeah, and this time it didn't do it either. I just ran it again. That's weird. I don't know what. Let me see if I can try clicking on the screen. Yeah, see, it seems like he's okay, so I've seen this reaction in Phaser before where right at the beginning it's kind of choppy and a little slow, and then voila, it's fine. Maybe it has to do with some of the console outs that we did here. Yeah, doesn't seem like a lot going on there.
Yeah, it was hit and miss too.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, Jim. I was thinking it was a load thing, but I'm doing an empty cache and hard reload to see if that's what was causing it. Oh, is it slow? No. Now we're gonna have to go back and watch the stream later. We're at 49 minutes, so we'll remember that 49 minutes. We should look at that again because that's odd.
All right, but I think it's close enough. We can call that a win.
Yeah. So it's neat. We have.
But it didn't stand there.
It did not. It did not stand
for 3
there.
seconds.
That is very upsetting. Maybe
we have to set it to the same to where it is. Like we have to give it a position.
Yeah, maybe.
You know what I mean? Like maybe we set X to 960 or something. So it'll tween nowhere. Sort of zero it out maybe.
Yeah, I mean I think that'll work. It may work. But if it does, I'm not excited about it.
It does seem like a hack, but
it does.
Maybe it needs a separate timeline of that.
Oh.
So he's waited, but he's still walking.
Yeah, and that's only because of the fact that we left the animation running. So keep in mind that that's completely fine. Like we could actually, if we set this. Yeah, you know what? I thought it might have too, Jim. So maybe what we do is instead of this here, we can do alien dot just say stop. It'll stop at the end, and then we'll just do an on complete here. And then now we can add in the flip. And then we can do the... I would like to do something different here, I think, because I feel like there's something that makes me not happy with that.
Well, it always feels weird to pass in like basically a bogus parameter. Oh,
Could not
read
read
properly
play. Did I type it? Oh, I forgot the S.
That'll do it.
You know, see, now it seemed like it sped up right before they hit the end. Jim's getting queasy doing this in JavaScript.
Yeah, well, we have to. So in order to, well, one of the things we're able to do is to have this go basically up on a web page so that we can kind of show it on the stream. And Phaser's an easy little engine to use. So if you want to like whack out a game too and have it like that, you know, it's a JavaScript engine, so it's there's not a lot of overhead as far as setting it up. Just drop it in.
I mean, because if you keep in mind too, like if you take a look, so really, the thing that we were trying to do is do something that was going to be in JavaScript. It's trying to type parts. Yeah. So, Jim, I was going to do it in TypeScript, but setting up all the pipelines to output the JavaScript for it from that was a little hairy, and it does. Phaser 3 does have TypeScript, like type definitions and stuff like that, so you could do it that way. I just thought it'd be interesting to do this in using ES6. Just thought it would be a good difference, something different to do.
Yeah, and setting up TypeScript, like you said, there's kind of like a bit of just stuff you got to do. It's not like just drop it in and roll.
Yeah. So, I was trying to see if I can get the alien should.
So what we should do is once we get this all working, if we want to do a different thing on the stream, just do like some Unity or something. If we want to do like some other game stuff, but with a little more robust platform.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. But look at the, so I got the stream, I reset it. So if you look on the stream, you'll see the alien walk out on the screen. And so that's kind of the benefit, what we're trying to do is get it so it'll happen on the stream, like while we're doing other coding. And so that stuff will pop right up, which is kind of the reason we're doing it in the, in JavaScript, which always makes things interesting.
Yeah, right, to be able to pipe it out to the stream as well.
Plus, we're not really good at it, so it's always better. It's always more interesting trying to figure it out.
So, what we got, it happened. So now...
Oh, yeah. You know what? That's an interesting point, Jim. You know what we had been doing is I had actually at one point added a background to this so we could actually see it. As I did background color, I had it as gray. So that would actually give us, so we could actually see it, because it was true on the white. It's like you can't tell at all that I had the helmet. Should probably get it to like a normal.
Whoa.
What?
I was stuttering, but it might have been Skype for me.
Yeah, I think that's the. So I'll leave that in the gray so we can see it. So I don't believe that even affects the stream when there's a background, because it'll just ignore it and make it clear. Sorry.
Well, we're usually coding on a black background, so.
Yes.
So.
Yes. So now we've got the alien walking. We have the timelines. I almost want to look up. Maybe there's actually something in here for timelines.
Oh, like a timeline sample. We were just asking the wrong question.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Loop timeline, simple timeline.
Let's see what that does.
Offset. Is that a time offset?
Yeah.
How about that?
So this is a different thing, right? So what they did is they actually had a group of tweens all at once.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and that array there.
Yeah. And so now I'm confused. How can they have this duration that's over top of the whole timeline?
Is this phaser 3? It is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I bet you I know what this is. This is something that is applied to all of these tweens. Like this must be like a global offset
Okay.
or a global setting, right? So it means that all of these tweens were actually getting a power of 2Es and they last for 2 seconds. But then they're separated by 1 second offsets.
Right. Okay. So that's the global easing time. So they move at the same speed.
Yeah, so that happened on one. Yeah, so that as it's finishing, the next one's
Not
starting,
easing,
right?
Tweening. Yeah.
So, so what we actually happen when we reload it, you see the first one will go after a second. This one starts before that finishes. So it's off by a second. So that's an interesting thing that I didn't even think about that we might be able to do if we wanted to do some different types of things happening all at once.
Yeah, it's fun too because it has there are 3 different boxes even that are being
Yeah.
handled in sort of a relative kind of way. We just happen to have 3 different aliens available to us too.
Yeah, right. So
did you want to see one box move multiple places then? Is that more like what we're doing? Oh, look at this guy. There you go. So it's got a loop at the top.
yeah. What the heck is this doing? So here you can see how it targeted one image, right, in that top portion, right? So this here is saying we're going to do this or it's going to have the one image is going to be in here.
So can you do that with any of the properties? Like just set that global?
It seems
Top
like
one?
it.
That's kind of hot. I like that. I mean, it's a little weird until you know it, but right? Because that's saying do all this to this one, where the other one had separate images that it let you define.
Yeah. I'm looking at that movement, right? I'm trying to look at this here. I'm trying to see what it's doing, right? Because it started at 100, 300, and then it was moving X to 700. What's our size of this? Yeah, 800. Okay, so this is moving it over to the other side of this screen. Oh, it's doing all of these at the exact same time. Okay.
So yeah, that's why it's turning in a circle.
That's why it's going in a circle, because of the fact that we have it. Well, that makes a lot more sense, because I was like looking at this going, how is this making a loop?
Yeah, because it's not offset. It's actually all. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So. Yeah. So this one here is causing it to go back and forth. Right. So yo-yo means, Jim, for yo-yo means it started at 100. Right, so the X on this box started at 100, so it went from 100 to 700 and then back to 100, and so it just kept going back and forth as part of this tween here. So while that one's going back and forth, the Y is going to
So that's got a smaller span.
100.
Right. Why does that have an explicit offset of 0?
I don't know.
And look, it's taken 2 seconds to go across the screen, but only 1 second, so it's going faster up and down. That's weird. Or slower. It's going
Well,
not fast.
that makes sense, right?
But it's a
Because,
shorter distance, yeah.
well, it has to do more with the fact that you, as so on the X, right? It's taking 2 seconds to go across the screen, right? So we have 2 seconds, which means that 1 second right in the middle, we want to have it at the top of the Y.
Right. Okay.
That's why that takes 1 second, because as X is going across, 1 is right in the middle of that. So that's why it then peaks at the top, and then the next second it's on its way down, and then the next second it's down even further, and then it's back up to the regular. But I don't understand why this works like that, because this almost looks like it goes this one, then this one, then this one, then this one, while this is going back and forth. I'm wondering if that's what this does.
The offset 0. Because it's explicitly there.
Yeah.
And none of the rest of them have it.
That makes me feel like that's what's causing. Oh, excuse me. I think it's what's causing each of these to do its thing. Interesting.
It is interesting.
Is this the one I had open before? Oh, it is. I was like, that looks like the same one. All right, so this is the same one that we had before, but it was done with this grouping of them.
Right. And there's no global setting on that one, which it looks like they could have done that ease. So maybe that.
Yeah, you know what's different here about this one? So the fact that there's no offset, I think it defaults these then to one after the other.
So it does them in serial.
Yes. So because what we had done, right? So we had done this where we were doing this, like, create a timeline and then adding the stuff to it. We could do it the same way here, where it's doing it like this, right? So we could actually put the configuration right inside of the timeline.
Right. So instead of adding it.
Was that the way that they were doing it? This tweens?
Yeah. And then you just put the array right in.
Yeah, so then you can just go tweens.
Yep.
Oh. Yep. And then
do we really need that weight one at all? Or can we just add an offset to the next one or something?
that is a very good question.
That's what I'm here for.
Oh, I forgot to. That's why it's just. I was wondering why this was yelling at me.
Well, you need an extra curly in there too, because that on complete is a function, so you got to wrap the whole.
Oh, I thought I still had it already in there.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah. Let me see. There we go.
See, and then you could put like alien as the target up top, right? According to what they were showing.
Yeah, so now we can streamline this a little bit, do that. And we don't have to have this in here on each one.
Yeah.
Don't need to. I'm just gonna take that out altogether. Now, it is a good question. I think let's see if this works properly. Um, Jim is very anxious. Trust me, Jim, I feel that way at work every day.
Not me, baby.
Oh, so we broke something.
Yes, it would seem that way. Although no error came out, right? Just didn't happen.
Yeah.
What is going on? Oh my. 607.
The alien is a ninja, Jim says. It worked as planned. This.tweens.timeline. You know what? This doesn't even have a play. I wonder if that's... Whoa, oh, hey. Have you been there that whole time?
Been where?
Up on...
Underneath?
Yeah, on the screen here.
No, not on the stream, no.
Okay, good. Oh, but you are frozen.
Oh, I am. All right.
So, I shouldn't need that. There we go. All right, he's back to walking. It's interesting that we didn't need to do the play. Cool.
He goes back.
So now let's try it with the offset, right? So instead of
instead of this whole piece, you want to take that whole weight out. And then so that's going to take 5,000. So does the offset get applied off the last one or from the beginning? It looks sort of like from the beginning.
It is from the beginning. It
Right.
said that in the documentation.
So the offset would be like 8,000 then. It's going to take 5,000 to get out, wait 3 seconds, and then begin walking in.
Yeah.
Right.
I wonder if there's so here's the only thing that I was concerned about. Like I'm looking at, right? So we have this code here on complete when this happens. So it's funny, you're still frozen. Like you're frozen, but it's showing up. It's like it's pretty funny.
Tried to stop it and restart it. But...
Yeah, it's just coming back as a screenshot because now you're in a different position, but you're still frozen. That was pretty funny. So when we stop, we want the animation to stop. Technically, I would like to actually set this to one of the standing animations, but
yeah, right, because there is the not walking ones.
Yeah, but which is fine. We can figure that out later. But what I'm concerned is how to get this started again, right? So if we do the offset, here, I'll show you. So I'm worried about it because we'll do offset, and we'll say 8,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I get rid of this.
Right, we've got to put the flip somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, so technically we could probably even put that in here.
Right.
I don't believe our guy does, Jim. But with that having been said, I think we could kind of give him one. That doesn't take a lot to kind of just create a couple of extra graphics where he's a little bit lower and have him kind of rock a little bit. So let's see if this works. At least the stop and then turn around. Okay, so that worked. except for the animation didn't start back up.
Ah,
No, I don't want an example. I just want the tweet. He, she. They're aliens, so we don't know. They could be anything. Or nothing.
or nothing, right?
Let's see what we have. They have a. I'm wondering if they have an on start. Do we have an on start? Because we have an on.
There's a resume, but that looks like a command.
Yeah, that's a command. This isn't quite. I was hoping something would tell me what the events were. So I can do this. I can say on. This is like real coding. That's part of the whole problem, isn't it? It's when people think about programming, they think, "Oh, this is going to just work like everything else."
Yeah,
Like
well, a lot of the stuff we do on the stream here too, we're sort of outside our comfort zone. Although the C# one, which we're not outside our comfort zone, we do quite a bit of looking up. But a lot of that has to do with the game engine as well.
Yeah, well, I mean that's kind of the key, right? Is that looking up the stuff is what it's doing. Yeah. They do,
Yeah.
Jim. They do. They do. They really think that this is just like, I try to do a little bit of research so I have kind of like to get started on something. But I don't really know everything about this library yet, so, and I'm still learning it, which has actually been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it has been pretty cool. There's a lot here.
Yeah, let me see. Maybe there's in here. Oh, maybe this will help us. The config. Because this we can actually do the way. Come on, where's our? I don't even see the on complete in here. Huh.
We're in the wrong spot.
This is the data config. Oh, wait a minute. Here we go. On start. So, there is an on start. That's what I was hoping for, right? So, we can
So
even
you can
leave.
put a little function in there
Yeah.
and do it.
So now we can do. Oop, not here. Right. So now we can use that. Put this in here, and then we can put the start the walk again. Yeah.
You want that on stop?
Was that Jim? Oh. Jim. It's like they never show on TV the thing in real life where coders, me anyways, try to write the same keyword 5 different ways, thinking that was the issue, only to find out that there was an extra comma or a missing semicolon. That would be the funniest thing to actually see a movie that portrayed coding like it really was.
It'd be a really boring movie.
Well, it doesn't have to be the whole
that's
movie.
The problem.
Yeah, exactly. But at least it would be real.
Yeah.
So he stopped. Oh!
We get error out? Oh, we did.
We did. What? Oh, I said... So I did start because of something else. What was it? The tween had a start? There was something that had a start. Nah. That was just me. Yeah. At least, Pete, you're frozen in a pondering with a
Yeah.
pondering look. Hey.
There it goes.
All right. So, what would be interesting to see if we have it? Well, we don't have a ton of time left because we did want to stop at 6:30. But I'm wondering if we have the I can open up the previous texture pack and we can see what we have available to us, right? So
For the standing.
that's what I was thinking, right? Because there's just this stand, but see, it's just one stand. Hurt. Oh, ooh, maybe that's what we want. Do we want standing sideways or front?
Front would kind of be like turn and look at you.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I vote front.
All right, so how do we do that? So, I think we do a set texture. And then, actually, I think we have it in here because I do it for when we refresh it. Oh, Pete, you changed positions again.
But it stopped again.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wait a minute. You're moving. You're unlocked. You have
Am
unlocked.
I moving? No, I locked up again.
Oh.
And look how small I am.
Oh,
What happened?
I didn't fix that on this. That's right.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, so here's the set texture. So we could actually set the texture again. Like we did up here, right? So I think we have to do it like this. Right, so we'll do set texture. And then instead of that, it'll be P1.
Stand, right?
No, it was
front.
It was front. Yep. There we go. Let's try that. See if that does it.
Oh, yeah.
He is. You are in Iron Forge. Oh boy. And he goes back. All right. We're starting to get a feel for this.
I didn't see it happen on either. It jumped all over on everything for me. Yeah,
well, wait for the stream. It should come on the stream at some point.
Yeah, the stream's like choppy and dying out on me too. There's something.
Are you running on battery?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
And my ping actually dropped to like 408 for like a tick.
Ah, that's crazy.
Yeah, and my computer itself is running really weird, honestly.
Yeah. It's still doing that weird thing where it speeds up. It's almost like the firework was slowing it down. But at least it does it. It would be neat to kind of have it when it turns, though, have them kind of animate a little bit like standing.
Right, to have just something like a little tick.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, I definitely can. I'm going to try that. Because I have it here where I just push a launch here. Actually, I'll turn both of these off so I can't accidentally do it. Yeah, there we go. Wait. Did I not? Oh, I didn't save it. I'm like, why is this not happening? I have to say, I'm pretty excited about the fact that this alien is moving across the screen.
Yeah, man, it's pretty cool. It's working out pretty well. And honestly, it's pretty easy. Like once you figure it out, right?
Yeah, well, that's kind of why I felt like if we could figure out how to do the tweening, and now that they call the timelines, I think that gives us a lot of capability to do some different stuff in there.
I wish I could see it like working smooth. I'll have to watch the stream after.
Yeah, so I'm seeing like it's moving across, and it seems to be working consistently now. Are we doing? Let me try. I'm gonna just turn on just that one firework. I'm not gonna have it where I can press the button for it, because maybe the input is what's slowing it down. Whoa! Oh yeah, so I put that back in there. It seemed to be okay. It seems to be okay. I like the fact that he turns and he looks at you. It feels like
Yeah.
it's something.
That's a little better. Oh, am I moving again?
Yep, you stopped. You move for like a second and then it cuts out. You're still clearly like the data must be low because you're still really small.
Yeah.
That was one
Turned
of the
off
things.
Twitch.
I think this weekend I'm gonna try to get my old desktop set up to actually run as the streaming computer, and that way I can use just one computer for just one thing. I wonder if they have some diagnostic tools for this, because I saw that they were putting some diagnostic tools into Phaser 4. And I don't know if it had to be specific to Phaser 4 or not. Yeah, well, Jim, they still use desktops for gaming, right? I've actually been looking at building a new desktop. But right now, with all the instability of everything, I've just been kind of like, let me hold on to my money for the right now. And I have a desktop that was really, really good at one point, and it's not still that good anymore, but it might be good enough to do this stuff. Yeah, I love building computers, Jim. The only part that I don't like is when it's not working, and I have to try to get different components to try to test out which part's actually not working. From 1995.
So I would like to bring to your attention that right now my system, like the displays are flashing on and off and stuff. So there's a pretty good chance you're going to lose me at some point here.
Oh no.
I'm surprised I can still speak to you. Like you can still hear me and all. But
yeah, I can still
like
hear you.
My command prompt with the continuous ping running is hung. That's how bad off I am.
Oh, that's not good.
No. My console's.
I almost want to try something here. Yeah, overheating. Can you bring up your task manager? Because the task manager now actually has a lot of additional information on it.
Yeah, I can. It's funny because I see this process keep coming up. It's called like Windows something, Windows problem reporting or something.
Oh, I wonder what that means. All right, so I want to do that. I want to go to. Let's try this. Let's try going to 960. And we'll do a duration of. Bill Gates is spying on Pete, I think.
My GPU is getting blasted. What is up with that?
But does it tell you in the? It should tell you in the. When you look at the processes list, over to the right, there's actually stuff that'll let you know what's on the GPU.
My 3D acceleration. Why?
What do you mean your 3D acceleration?
That's So there's this 3D engine piece, like stat that's like bouncing all over the place.
Oh yeah, but does it show you if you look in the process list? It'll actually show you over to the right, like what GPU, what stuff is using your GPU, and which stuff is using your onboard. And
Yeah, it's not telling me that. Unless I have to open some else. Hang on a second. What?
all
I
right,
think. It's not using the wired network adapter, so there's that. I'm on wireless.
P1 underscore jump. That's aliens. Oh, 'cause I didn't want that on the ends. That's why I was upset. Okay. That's kind of interesting. Maybe I should try doing it for 1 second here and see if. So I'm making them jump at the end. So to jump to the standing, right?
Oh, I can see it again now. It's
Oh,
moving.
whoa, that was really fast. What happened?
And it's not.
That was way too fast. What happened? So it stops. Oh, I changed this to 100 instead of 1000. I was like, I thought I went from 500 from half a second to a second. Shouldn't have gone faster. Maybe I'll have them. Yeah, 10th of a second jump, exactly. I think that was almost too slow, like the 1 second. I'm wondering if maybe if I go to, like, let me do 850 and then do this at 20, and we'll make this like 800. So it go a little bit further but faster. That was a little bit better. Still think that should be like 500. It does look like he's sliding into home. Oh, maybe I should change his Y position. I don't know what the answer is to that, but I generally like what's happening with them. I like the idea of having something happen at the end. Yeah, give them some ups. What if
Unfortunately, I can't really see the animation happening.
Oh no.
It's so choppy that like I'm missing like a bunch of frames. That's why I've been so quiet. It's like I have nothing to really add. But did my camera start moving again?
I kind of see you moving. I think I can. Let me see if I can set this back to. Yeah, you're kind of still choppy though, because I just saw you. That's gonna cause him to kind of jump up and then fall back down when he stands. Let's. I don't know if I'm gonna like that. Oh, I went the wrong direction. Should have gone up to, so it was 410. I should have gone up to, say, like 380. So it kind of worked. I almost feel like I need to crate where he jumps and then comes back down. I don't know how to do that just yet. But we
Yeah,
are.
well.
What's that?
I was gonna say I'll leave us something for next time.
Yeah, I think that's pretty neat though. I think that's it's kind of slick. I may actually just leave that in there so that when we start it up in the next streams, we'll actually have it come. He'll walk out as like kind of letting us know that it's starting.
Yeah, that would be kind of awesome.
Yeah. It would actually be neat if we made it so that when it would come out, it would actually say presenting, and then have like the little bubble pop up, and that way we don't have to say anything. We just let them come out and say it.
That would be pretty cool, actually.
So.
Yeah, we'll have to see, man. That'd be pretty neat, though.
Yeah. Awesome.
So, all right. That's about it for tonight, though, huh?
Yeah, I think we're gonna need to get. We're gonna have to have Jim as color commentary for us.
Yeah. We'll put the call out today on the Slack channel. So, can you guys kind of join? We'd like to have a little chat
Yeah.
back and forth going. So thanks, Jim, for joining us. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was great.
It always makes it much more interesting, at least for us, and I think for everybody else too. But
Yeah, it's great. All right, I think we are done. Everybody have a great weekend. Pete, you have a great weekend.
You
Pete?
too. I'll see you tomorrow morning.
Yes, we will be back here tomorrow morning doing some Snap, actually.
Yeah.
I do have to tell you, I'm excited about the idea of converting that over into this, but I've actually been looking at Godot. It looks like Godot, but it sounds like they pronounce it Godot.
Okay.
It's a different type of game engine that might be neat to play with. So.
And is that also JavaScript, or is that something?
That is, it's actually anything. It's kind of similar to Unity, but it's just a little bit lit up. So, Pete, oh my God, Pete, you're even smaller. We better end this stream before you disappear.
I'm melting.
It's so small.
That's all the bits that are coming through, huh? Oh boy.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we're getting 8 of what, 1K worth. So.
Oh, my system really wants to reboot.
All right, bye, everybody. Thanks so much.
Good night, everybody.